Ever wondered what happens when robbers leave their common sense at home?
He actually asked me, I need the money out of your wallet. I just said, I got $2 in my wallet and that's for my next beer.
From throwing bananas in people's faces to locking themselves inside stores, today we're looking at some of the funniest, dumbest heists caught on security cameras. The banana battle at Walgreens. A shoplifter grabs everything from the counter while an employee contacts the police. When the suspect thinks he's in the clear, a brave customer steps in, recording the whole thing. Annoyed, the robber knocks the phone out of the customer's hand and tries to walk away, but the customer isn't backing down. Irritated, the robber picks up a banana and throws it at the customer's face.
Hey, no.
Yes, a banana. And guess what? The customer throws it right back at him. The robber starts hurling more items at the persistent customer, making the scene even more bizarre. Finally, the robber decides to make a run for it. This whole event, caught on camera, is a mix of comedy and crime, showing how sometimes throwing a banana in a robbery is the right thing to do. The Brick Blunder. Here's a story from China that's as ridiculous as it is unfortunate. Two burglars plan to rob a store with bricks in hand. The first one throws his brick at the window, but the second burglar's aim goes hilariously wrong. Instead of hitting the window, he smacks his accomplice right in the face, knocking him out cold. With his partner down and out, the second burglar scrambles to drag the unconscious thief out of the camera's view. He pulls him to the side, trying to hide their mishap. The whole scene, captured on the security camera, shows just how badly things can go wrong when plans are poorly executed. This mishap proves that even with the best intentions, poor coordination and lack of skill can turn a simple burglary into a farce. The sight of a burglar accidentally injuring his partner while trying to break in is both laughable and a stark reminder of how not to handle a crime. The U-Haul getaway gone wrong. After robbing a place, she decides the best getaway vehicle is a stolen U-Haul. Cornered by two police cars, she refuses to give up. Instead of surrendering, she decides to escape by driving the U-Haul backward. Believe it or not, she plans to back away from the police. The whole scene is captured on the police dash cam. As she tries to maneuver the bulky vehicle in reverse, it's clear this plan isn't going anywhere, literally. The police quickly corner the U-Haul, blocking any chance of escape. Despite her efforts to keep moving, the vehicle is soon surrounded. Her futile attempts at a backward escape end with her being arrested right there on the spot. It's a classic example of how not to make a getaway. Choosing a giant, slow-moving truck and then trying to drive it in reverse? That's not in the manual for successful escapes. The great TV heist fail. Now let's talk about a house robbery that's more of a comedy show than a crime. This scene starts with a suspect struggling to steal a TV off the wall. He twists and turns it, but just can't get it loose. Meanwhile, his accomplice tries to help by smashing his head on a window. Ouch! Another accomplice opens the trunk of their getaway car, ready to load the loot. After several minutes of struggle, they finally rip the TV off the wall, but there's a problem. The TV is broken. Their hard work results in a useless, broken piece of electronics. Not willing to give up, they decide to escape through the broken window they came in from. But in their haste, they stumble and fall, making their escape even more laughable. Caught on security camera, their bungled attempt at robbery leaves them empty-handed and probably nursing some bruises. This failed heist shows how sometimes things just don't go as planned, especially when the plan involves smashing and grabbing without any finesse. It's a lesson in what not to do if you're planning a robbery. And really, who would want to plan one after seeing this mess? The locked-in jewelry store heist. Heading over to London, we've got a jewelry store heist that goes hilariously wrong. 3 armed robbers storm into the store, with one dragging an employee while the other 2 start grabbing jewelry. Everything seems to be going according to their plan until they accidentally close the security door. Now, they're locked inside with no easy way out. Panic sets in as they realize their mistake. One robber manages to open the door and makes a run for it, leaving his buddies behind. the second robber follows suit, also escaping and abandoning the last guy. Now it's just one robber left, trapped and desperate. After several failed attempts to open the door, he finally gets some help from his friends outside. Watching the footage, you can see the confusion and desperation as they struggle to escape their self-made prison. This heist turns into a comedy of errors, proving that even the best-laid plans can go awry. The robbers' lack of coordination and quick thinking turns a serious crime into a slapstick routine, all caught on camera for our amusement. The creative phone heist. Next, we have a clever yet ultimately unsuccessful phone robbery in Odisha, India. Two thieves hatch a plan to steal phones from an electronics store. One distracts the employee, moving towards her and signaling to the other side. While her attention is diverted, he uses his other hand to swipe phones from the shelves. The stolen phones are then handed to his accomplice, who is casually sitting behind the counter on a chair. Their plan seems flawless, and they manage to grab several phones without being noticed by the employee. However, their success is short-lived. The store's CCTV cameras capture every move, providing clear evidence of their crime. Despite their creativity and smooth execution, these robbers are quickly identified and caught thanks to the security footage. Their slick moves and clever distractions weren't enough to outsmart modern surveillance. This heist serves as a reminder that no matter how creative you get, it's hard to beat the watchful eyes of security cameras. The Mask Mishap. Imagine trying to rob a gas station and forgetting one crucial detail, covering your face. That's exactly what happened in this robbery attempt. An armed robber storms into the store, demanding money from the cashier. Mid-threat, he suddenly remembers. His face is uncovered. He quickly pulls down his mask, glancing around nervously for any witnesses. Unfortunately, it's too late. The entire fiasco is already captured on the store's security camera. Despite the slip-up, he still manages to grab the stolen cash and make a quick exit. This blunder highlights how even the simplest mistakes can lead to big problems. Forgetting to cover your face not only compromises anonymity, but also leaves a clear trail for the authorities. The whole scene, caught on tape, is a perfect example of how a small oversight can lead to major consequences. The liquor store fiasco. Let's take a look at a robbery that goes from bad to worse. In this case, a burglar attempts to break into a liquor store with a wrench, but his efforts are unsuccessful. So, he resorts to smashing the glass door, letting his two accomplices in. Once inside, the trio begins to steal bottles of liquor. But their luck doesn't improve. One of the burglars trips and falls, shattering a stolen liquor bottle in the process. The clumsy slip-up doesn't stop them from leaving, but it certainly makes their escape messier. Captured by surveillance cameras, their chaotic and fumbling heist is a prime example of how not to pull off a robbery. From breaking glass to tripping over bottles, their lack of coordination and professionalism turns a simple crime into a comedic disaster. The iPhone Snatcher. Next up, a daring daylight robbery at an Apple store in Oakland, California. A masked robber decides to steal over 40 iPhones in broad daylight. The thief is seen ripping the phones off their charging cables and stuffing them into his pants like he's packing groceries. He's so focused on the haul that he walks right past a police car parked outside, completely oblivious to the fact that his crime is unfolding in front of a bewildered crowd. The surveillance footage captures his brazen act and lack of concern for being caught. The robber's audacity, combined with his apparent lack of a getaway plan, shows that even in a well-orchestrated crime, getting caught can be a matter of bad timing and poor judgment. The house break-in blunder. Here's a story from Johannesburg that shows how quickly a robbery can go south. A man manages to break open a door at a house and lets his 4 accomplices in. They all enter with high hopes of finding valuables, but soon realize their expectations are unmet. As they explore the house, it becomes clear that the place is either empty or not worth their time. Realizing their break-in is a bust, the group decides to cut their losses and leave. They exit the house in a hurry, hoping to avoid any trouble. The security camera captures their rapid exit, showing their frustration and disappointment. This quick getaway highlights how even a well-planned entry can turn into a complete failure if the target is less than expected. Their hurried departure and lack of any significant loot make it clear that sometimes even getting inside isn't enough to guarantee a successful crime. It's a classic case of a robbery that falls flat, proving that a good plan needs more than just a successful break-in. The lawn trimmer justice. While he's trimming away, two robbers spot a truck parked a few houses down and decide to steal from it. Little do they know, that truck belongs to the man currently working in his yard. Once the homeowner notices the theft, he springs into action. He chases after the robbers and hurls his lawn trimmer at their car's windshield. The impact causes one of the suspects to tumble out of the vehicle. The other robber, realizing things are going south, tries to make a quick getaway. Despite their attempts to escape, the persistent homeowner keeps the pressure on. Eventually, the suspects fled the scene, leaving behind their stolen goods. This brave and unexpected act of defense shows how sometimes a determined victim can turn the tables on thieves and recover what's been taken. The bike shop heist. Let's dive into a bike shop robbery that's both daring and desperate. Thieves arrive with a plan to break into the shop by ramming their car into the garage door. Though they make a dent, they can't fully break it down. Instead, they're left with a small crack at the bottom of the door. Undeterred, the thieves start pulling out several high-value bikes worth $10,000 through the gap. They keep working to widen the opening with repeated hits from their car, but their efforts only create a bit more space. Despite the struggle, they manage to steal as many bikes as they can through the narrow opening. Their attempts to force open the door completely fail, but their persistence pays off with a significant haul. The scene captured on security cameras highlights the lengths thieves will go to for high-value targets and how a small opening can still lead to a big theft. The smash and grab extravaganza. Here's a dramatic scene from a jewelry store that turned into a smash and grab extravaganza. Around 20 robbers burst into the store, armed with hammers and other tools. They violently break into display cases, grabbing jewelry and other precious items in a frenzy. The chaos unfolds as the robbers loot the store, working quickly to gather as much as they can. The sight of so many people involved in such a brazen crime is both overwhelming and chaotic. Once the robbers leave, the store employees come out from the back, stunned by the destruction and theft left in their wake. The scale of this robbery shows how large, organized groups can overwhelm security measures and cause massive damage in a short time. The security footage captures the full extent of the havoc, highlighting the severe impact of such coordinated criminal actions. The side view mirror takedown. Here's a quick and intense robbery caught on camera. Two thieves are caught in the act of stealing side view mirrors from a car. As they work, the car owner rushes out to confront them. The thief on the motorcycle loses his balance during the struggle and falls, causing the bike to topple over. The car owner doesn't back down. Instead, he seizes the opportunity to tackle the thieves, dragging them into his home. The entire confrontation, captured on CCTV, shows the car owner taking immediate action to stop the theft. This footage demonstrates how sometimes taking swift and decisive action can thwart a robbery. The owner's quick response not only prevents theft, but also turns the tables on the would-be thieves, showing that vigilance and determination can make a big difference in protecting one's property. The Bike Blunder. Here's a head-scratcher from the world of failed thefts. Two robbers spot a motorcycle but face an immediate problem. The gate is closed. Instead of figuring out how to open it, they decide to lift the bike and drop it over the gate. It's a clumsy spectacle as they heave the bike up, only to drop it again and again. After several attempts, they finally manage to get the bike over the gate. Then, in a final twist, they don't even ride away properly. Instead, they awkwardly fly off with the bike. The whole scene is a comedy of errors, showcasing just how unprepared and disorganized they were. Watching their struggle with the gate and the bike, it's clear they had no solid plan. It's a reminder that sometimes, the more effort put into a heist, the more ridiculous it becomes. The Bronx Blunder. Now, head to the Bronx for a robbery attempt that goes hilariously wrong. A robber smashes the front window of a jewelry store with a hammer, while his partner eagerly stuffs a bag with stolen goods. However, the store isn't empty. Someone inside quickly lowers the mechanical gate. The duo tries to halt the gate with their hands, but their efforts are futile. Frustrated, they give up and attempt to flee, but it's too late. Their whole escapade is captured on surveillance cameras, leading to their swift arrest by the police. It's a classic case of getting caught by the unexpected. The bizarre baker's surprise. Prepare for a peculiar robbery story from Melbourne. A 44-year-old woman, known for her pastry thefts, decides to do a little stretching before her bakery heist. Yes, you heard it right. She's caught on camera doing her exercise routine in front of the bakery. After warming up with some impressive flexibility, she finally proceeds to rob the place. It's not just the robbery that's unusual. It's the bizarre pre-heist workout that steals the show. The footage captures her stretching and preparing like it's a casual day at the gym rather than a criminal act. This odd combination of exercise and theft highlights how some robbers have a unique approach to their crimes. What goes through someone's mind when they decide to stretch before stealing? The trapped robber. Here's a classic case of a robber's plan going hilariously wrong. In a bakery in Mexico, an armed thief storms in, threatening the female employee and demanding cash. As he approaches the register, she quickly assesses the situation and comes up with a clever solution. Without hesitation, she leaves the bakery and shuts the shutters, trapping him inside. The footage shows how frustrated he gets when he realizes he's stuck. He tries kicking the shutters and searching for another way out, but nothing works. He's trapped. Watching him struggle to escape is both desperate and funny. Thanks to the employee's quick thinking, what could have been a regular robbery turned into a comedy. It proves that a bit of cleverness can stop even the most determined thief. The cleanup crook. Let's dive into a bizarre burglary from Vancouver. A guy breaks into a bakery, but instead of running off, he takes a few selfies. After his little photo session, he cleans up the mess he made. Then he grabs a box of cupcakes and leaves. The footage shows him handling the crime in a surprisingly polite way, even cleaning up after himself. It's a reminder that even in crime, there can be some unexpected manners. The locked-in robber. Here's a funny one from Chonburi, Thailand. A guy walks into a jewelry store, asks to try on a gold necklace worth around $600, and then makes a run for it. But here's the twist. He doesn't get far because the store owner had locked the door when he got suspicious. The thief ends up giving the necklace back and gets caught shortly after. So much for a quick getaway. The store owner's quick thinking saved the day. The self-knocked-out robber. Next, we're off to Washington State, where a thief tries to make a quick escape with high-end items from a store. But things go wrong when he slams headfirst into a glass door while running. Ouch! He knocks himself out cold right there on the floor. The security guard steps in and detains him. Talk about a painful mistake. This thief learned the hard way that a clean getaway is not just about speed, but also about not running into doors. The clueless ATM robber. Here's a classic blunder from Australia. An amateur thief breaks into a service station, attaches a chain to an ATM, and tries to pull it out with his truck. But he fails to notice that the chain isn't attached to the truck. After a few attempts and realizing his mistake, he gives up and leaves empty-handed. Sometimes, even the simplest plans can fall apart if you miss the basics. This guy's failed heist is a perfect example of how not to rob an ATM. The trash can cover-up. Moving on to Trichy, India, two burglars try to rob a vocational training center for women. They're caught on camera as soon as they enter. In a panic, they hide in an adjacent room. One of them, clearly not the brightest, decides to use a trash can to hide his face from the CCTV. It's not exactly high-tech, and it doesn't work well. The footage shows him searching the building while hiding behind the trash can. Not the best disguise for a robbery. The plastic bag bandit. Here's a story about a particularly dim-witted robber. He tries to break into an electronics store at night. He manages to hide his face but uses a clear plastic bag to do so. Not the most effective disguise, right? He struggles to get through a small back door, But his plastic bag trick doesn't fool the security cameras. The footage clearly shows his failed attempt and how poorly planned it was. Using a plastic bag as a disguise might just be the worst idea ever. The reflection panic. Lastly, we've got a hilarious robbery fail where a thief breaks into a house through a window. He's sneaking around when he spots what he thinks is a person. Terrified, he runs out with his partner without realizing it's just his reflection in a big mirror. This thief's panic over a reflection shows how sometimes even the simplest things can mess up a plan. The footage captures the whole silly scene perfectly. And there you have it, folks. Some of the dumbest robbers caught on camera. These clips remind us that crime definitely doesn't pay, especially when you're this bad at it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more hilarious and unbelievable content. Until next time, stay safe and stay smart.